Hi everyone, and welcome back to part 5 of this workshop series where I'm giving out some information about how the brain works and particularly how trauma affects the brain and how it affects its development, right? So for those of you that don't remember, the last video we talked a little bit about how the brain works, just a really brief overview. So if you don't remember or you'd like a refresher, just check out part 4. And in this video, we're going to dig a little bit deeper into how the brain responds to stress. And so thinking back to the previous video, we can remember the limbic system, right? So the limbic system is in charge of things like our memory. It's in charge of what helps us bond. It's also in charge of our emotions, but it's also particularly in charge with our survival responses, which you're seeing here. And so you have your flight responses. So that's you sense some danger, you want to run away. You can see that in disassociation, that is a response to flight as well when it's severe stress. Then you also have the freeze response, right? And so that's when you are unable to move when you perceive a threat or whenever there is a threat. There's also fight, and I'm sure you know that. So you know what that is. And fighting is, of course, you are acting aggressively towards a perceived threat. So that could mean, lashing out. That could be, which is yelling, getting mad, explosions, anything like that. It could also be physical fighting. And then you have one that we haven't heard until recently, and this one is called our fawn responses, right? So the fawn responses are when you have a perceived threat, your stress response is activated, and you immediately are trying to please the person so you can avoid any conflict, right? So it's a little bit of a freeze, a little bit of a flight, but it's its own department. So that's a new one. And once again, this is located in the limbic system. And this is what really is in charge whenever your brain has experienced some trauma. And we're going to dig a little bit deeper into why too much stress really affects your survival skills, your survival responses, and why that is harmful. Because of course, we have these responses to keep us safe, right? These things tell us, well, look, we need to fight, we need to get out of here, we need to please the person. They're there for a reason. They are good to have. The issue is when there is too much stress, aka a lot of trauma going on where your brain is in constant survival mode, that is when problems start arising and trauma symptoms start happening, and that's when it starts interfering with your everyday life. So again, the next video we're going to dive into what happens when there is too much stress. I gave a little bit away, but we're going to dig a little deeper in the next one. Okay, see you then.